Good day to all the Aviapreneurs joining me today for a new episode of Aviapreneurs podcast. This is Adnan Baranbo, and our topics for today's episode is Aviation Group of Companies. And my guest to discuss today's episode is Mr. Haris Coloman, who's talking to me now from Malta and who's originally from Bosnia. Good day, Haris. Thank you for joining me today.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having me on your show, Adnan.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your time and being interested in this show. So, Haris, you are an aviapreneur, as I mentioned, from Bosnia. You have more than 25 years of experience in the aviation industry. You started your career working for the Bosnian military and for the NATO. And then you took charge of many ground operations roles for various airlines, such as Sky Bosnia, Bosnia One Airline, and the Egyptian Nesma Airlines. Later, you became the Chief Executive Officer of Fly Bosnia. And since 2021, you are the Chief Executive Officer of AirHub Aviation, an aviation group of companies providing various services in the aviation industry, such as passenger and cargo air services, besides other general aviation services. So, Haris, as I mentioned, AirHub is not just an airline. It provides many other aviation services, such as training, maintenance, cargo management, besides the airline. Can you explain to us the structure of the group and what does each part of the group actually provide?
Actually, now when you said it, when you listed everything I've been and everything I did, it sounds pretty amazing. So thank you very much for reminding me. I almost forgot about those days.
You did a lot.
Let me just give you a little pointer there. AirHub Aviation is a brand that we are building. It's not a company, it's a brand which covers a lot of, so to say, avenues connected to aviation and wider. We try to diversify because we think that standard classic aviation, especially ACMI charter business, is outdated. So I'm very fortunate that I'm working with a group of people, stakeholders, owners of the company, who think differently and they think 5, 10, 15 years in advance. And that's actually why I joined AirHub Aviation and AirHub Airlines as a CEO, is because we have a full support of our stakeholders who's got great ideas. Under the AirHub Aviation brand, we have several companies which are dealing with finances, with leasing, with insurance. Lately, we entered the insurance market as well, so we are offering that as one of our businesses. And of course, airline. The bigger you are, the more problems you have, of course. More challenges you're meeting through your operation. So the bigger is possibility to fail, correct? So there is no saying like they said in the United States, it's too big to fail. You know, for the airline, that's not true. The bigger you are, the bigger is possibility to make strategic mistake, to be influenced by the environment. I'm talking about recessions. I'm talking about wars. We see what's happening lately with the incoming recession, with the war in Ukraine. We survived through, I think, 3 or 4 major crises since September 11 to 2008 housing market collapse. It all influenced aviation in certain ways. So we realized if we split some of these disciplines within the organization, one of them can fail, but other ones will survive. Okay, so that was a tool how we actually seen the business and how we move to the future. I'm giving you a little a trade secret here, but it's okay. You're my friend. I know you're not going to abuse it.
It's amazing, actually, structure, but it's just diversification, which is what you're doing is application of the economic and strategic theories that when you diversify, you actually manage risk better. And actually is a structure of followed by many airline groups around the world, like Emirates, Qatar Airways, and Lufthansa. So as I say, airline profit margin is very thin, but the actual aviation companies in the supply chain of the aviation industry can support the airline profits. So you made the group in this way with the purpose of minimizing and managing the risk. So as you mentioned, AirHub Aviation is a brand, but you're working as a group of companies, of sister companies, coordinating and supporting each other.
Absolutely. We have several companies. One of them is, for example, the latest one is Risk Glossary, which is handling the insurance. We have FinHub, which is handling our finances. We have AirLab in Dubai, which is handling our commercial business and marketing, etc., etc. We have other airlines within the group, but we don't call it a group because that brings certain liabilities. You know that, as you explained it, you want to mitigate your risk and you want to diversify the proper way.
Understood. But the main company or the mother company or the airline is actually based in Malta, right?
AirHub Airlines is based in Malta. We are our principal base place of business is Malta. So we have 25 permanent employees in Malta, with the offices in St. Julian. Other services we outsource. Even though their people are working for the company, for the group of companies, they're not working directly from us. So if we need reinforcement in the field of safety, security, and things like that, we outsource these functions to one of our sister companies. As you know, we do the maintenance as well. We have an MRO called Aviatic MRO, which is in Lithuania, but they have I think over 60 line stations around the world because we are flying to all the continents.
Mm-hmm. And why did you choose Malta for the airline to be based in?
Well, initially it was easy to do business. You know how what attracts investors to any of these countries. It was the way the Maltese government structure, how I call it, red carpet for the investors to come to this country, and that was the reason why we chose to be here. Other than that, there was a great pool of aviation talent in Malta at the same time. So we figured that through our activities, we can attract some of the local talents as well. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about business, I think those are the two biggest things that actually made us start up the business in Malta.
Yeah, and this is the reason why there are so many AOCs actually established and based in Malta.
We are number 60. We are number 60, and we are established in 2019.
Yeah, earlier I talked to Mr. Stanley Bougeya and to Captain Charles, and they mentioned clearly that
very good friends of mine.
They are great, respectful gentlemen and successful aviapreneurs, actually. So moving.
And these guys are actually also some of the reasons why we are here, because when I landed to an island and as a foreigner, as a somebody who never been here, I've been greeted by Stanley, by Katrina, by Razvan, by Mr. Charles, who's running TMCAD. I mean, by people from the Ministry of Transportation. So it was amazing to see that people actually care for the investor coming to the country and starting a business like this.
Absolutely. They are a great team of people, and they are very good representatives and ambassadors of the country. So moving to the airline business model, AirHub Airline work as a commercial charter airline, correct? You don't have actually scheduled operation.
We are ACMI/charter operator. That's our business model. But you have to take in consideration that we are flying scheduled flights. For example, we have airplane on lease with Air Malta. So our airplanes are flying from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. Yes, but you're right. We are ACMI charter operator.
So I'll start with the charter operation. Compared to scheduled operation, which has predefined timings and schedule, charter operation is somehow little safer, where you only fly, you only incur the direct operating cost, when you actually fly compared to the scheduled airline, which has to fly anyway. And this is one of the reasons why recently we have seen the commercial charter airlines increasing. So what's your experience with this business model? Is it actually better and more secure business than scheduled operation?
You see, with charter flights, you're dealing with people who don't have airlines. You're dealing with the tour operators, football teams. So sometimes it's a long process of negotiation to get to the point where you want to be. Okay, you're absolutely right. But everything's included in the cost. For us, more practical and much better is the ACMI business, where we sell block hour for certain price, and within the contracts we require minimum block hours. So I would call ACMR more secure than charter, but it all depends how you look at it. Our biggest contracts are ACMI.
So
that's why we.
Yeah, actually, as you mentioned, I was going to mention that ACMI is even more secure than all of them because you have a guaranteed future business and the minimum guaranteed hours by the client. But I think, who are normally your clients for the ACMI? I'm just trying to have you clarify to the audience in case some of them don't have.
Let me just tell you, Wizz Air.
Yes, please.
We are flying for Wizz Air even now. We are flying for Air Malta. We're flying for national carriers, for flag carriers. We're flying for small airlines who are in trouble. Who in season, it's very difficult to predict how your fleet is going to behave. I remember I have a good friend who's from my region. I'm not going to say the name, obviously. I don't want to give them a bad commercial, but all of a sudden, 4 aircrafts are down. And you have 55 destinations that you're covering every week. So you need help. In that moment, that's where we are coming into play, ACMI operators. But again, nothing's guaranteed. Everything's based on your performance. We have clients, like I said, from South America, North America, Africa, Asia, Middle East, Europe. It all depends on your performance. If you perform, if you respect your client, if you're taking care of the passengers, if you're on time, and your delays are minimum, you don't have to worry about your future. That's why we are here in business. Like I said, some of our companies been in aviation business for more than 15 years.
Yeah, we are in business actually to over-deliver, not to disappoint customers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Whoever is delivering the minimum, bare minimum, he can be concerned for the future.
And you're having also both narrow body and wide body aircraft in your ACMI offering, correct?
Absolutely. We are dealing with the A320, A330, and A340 aircrafts. And lately we got 737 NGs as well, 737-800s.
Isn't it harder to have both fleet at the same time? Because we see that normally ACMI operators try to specialize either in short haul, narrow body, or long haul, wide body. How can you combine both?
A lot of challenges. Let me tell you something. If you think that it's easy, just get a Volkswagen and a BMW in the garage, and you will see the problems that you have. So I'm not comparing any of these to any of the models, but wide body operations, especially overseas, we're flying over Atlantic. We're flying to Baltimore and New York 2 times per week for the scheduled operator. We actually we were in a learning curve initially, but now because we have good post holders, I mean, I have great team of people working with me, supporting me in this effort. Without that, we would not be able to do it. All of these guys are experienced in the wide body operations, cargo and passenger. So I had my absolute confidence, and I didn't think about a second to give it a green light. So we got 4 A330s and we got 3 A340s. So it's significant. It's significant.
But normally we see that airlines are trying to have common aircraft. Commonality is normally one of the secrets to control and reduce cost. Having multiple type of aircraft, isn't it a factor that contribute to your increasing your cost?
Again, it's going back to the experience. We built our experience over 15 and more years to get to this point where we can accept different models of the aircraft, and which is our advantage over competition, because we can offer our client the type of aircraft that he needs at that moment. It's all based on the experience, on the readiness of stakeholders to invest. In aviation, it's all about money. You know that.
Absolutely. And you just mentioned also that not only you have narrow body and wide body, you also have passenger and cargo airplanes, which make it even more complicated to operate them. So how can you do that?
We like fun. We like having fun, you know. Actually, the cargo, as you know, cargo traffic was based on the EASA exemption for the zero LOPA aircrafts, that we can move medical supplies out of Asia to Europe back and forth to ease the supply chain problems that showed up during COVID. So that's how we started, and we realized that actually that cargo is steadily at 7% growth per year, I think, cargo demand. So we realized that there is a room for business there, and we continue with it, and we are looking in the future to invest in cargo as well.
So currently, you or you do not have a dedicated cargo airplanes?
We have one dedicated, but since the EASA exemption is over on 31st July, I think was the last day, it is on the ground, and we're waiting for a proper conversion to cargo.
I understand. And do you see that the cargo business in the last 3 years, it was actually booming? Many airlines were established, many passenger operators were acquiring, as you mentioned, cargo aircraft, and the current cargo aircraft operators were acquiring new cargo aircraft. Do you see this growth continuing in the future with the news we are hearing everywhere about the recession?
Absolutely. Listen, the shipping business had the monopoly basically on the cargo logistics for so many years, and airline cargo was very expensive for everybody because we know the cost of the moving cargo through air. But when you see the giants like MSC and Maersk basically getting a fleet of aircraft to move cargo by air, then you know that there is money in that business. We know that Amazon is in that business as well. They got their own aircraft, so there is room, there is potential, and I hope we're gonna find our place there.
Definitely. I'm gonna go back to the structure of AirHub Aviation. You mentioned that you have multiple companies in training, in cargo, in commercial, and in maintenance, and beside the airline. So instead of just having the airline and relying on outsiders to support the airline, the stakeholders you mentioned and yourself decided to have a group of companies. So these other companies are supporting the airline, but at the same time, you are supporting others, right?
Absolutely. But only if we are sure that we can provide the service. We don't build a company just to say, oh, listen, let's do the insurance, and maybe we're gonna insure our aircraft, and then maybe we will see. No, we just want to make sure. First, we want to make sure that we do it right, and then we offer it to the third party. And let me tell you something. We forgot the big part of our AirHub family. Is it AirHub ATO? It's a pilot and cabin crew training center in Vilnius, and these guys are doing a great job. They helped us so much with the crew staffing and training, and that's one of the examples how you can integrate external and internal business. Yes, we are the prime customer to AirHub ATO, but in the same time we are offering, and we already have I don't know how many classes of cadets graduated from that school and flying around the world.
Actually, if all airlines decided to do what you're gonna do, there will be no place for independent service providers. They will not have clients to serve. I'm just kidding, of course.
But it's I wouldn't say that. A lot of people say, "Oh, this guy is competition. This guy is competition." No, I mean, yes, we are competition. We are competing with basically we are competing with ourselves because we have several airlines in our organization. Correct. So competition is something that will allow you to grow. You can
Absolutely.
learn you can make mistakes, and then you move on, you grow. So for me, competition is just the way to get business intelligence, to get information, to get new avenues of approach, how to do business. So I'm not really over concerned with competition.
I agree with you, and I salute you for this spirit. I'm very grateful, Harris. Thank you very much. And before we close for today's episode, I'm sure the audience will be interested to hear some of your recommendation. You have a very successful career. As we mentioned, you started in the military, then you moved to ground operation, then you climbed the radar to actually run and grow airlines. So I'm sure many of the audience would like to follow your steps and have a career like yours. What advice do you give them on how to start, grow, and run a successful airline and aviation business?
Don't be scared, don't be afraid, ask questions, communicate all the time. I worked with the U.S. military as well for a while, and they taught me one very important thing, one very good sentence. They said, "Move, shoot, communicate."
Move,
That's
shoot.
how I live my life. So do not miss opportunity. Attitude is very important. Knowledge will come, but attitude and willingness to do something, to do bigger, better, to prove yourself, to build your company, and to be loyal to the person who gave you an opportunity. That would be all.
Very valuable advice and very good points you have made. Thank you so much, Harris. I appreciate your time and experience and the knowledge you shared with us all.
Adnan, appreciate the opportunity, and it was always pleasure to talk to you. And I will see you at Mace very soon.
Yes, see you in 2 weeks. Actually,
See
when
you
we
in two
publish
weeks.
the episode, it's gonna be inside Maze. it,
There you go.
it will be in the same day.
Excellent.
Thank you, my
Excellent.
friend. Thank you to all the
Thank you, Adnan.
thank you, Harris. Thank you to all the aviapreneurs who joined us today. I look forward to seeing you again next week with another episode and another guest on Aviapreneurs podcast. Have a great day.